twice now the Celtics have been first to the floor. They try to save with Horford. Unbelievable.
Boston first to the floor. So good.
Brown fakes, fires up the three. Bang! Tatum dives on the floor. Everybody dives. Jaylen Brown with the flush. Blocked by Porzingis. He's doing it all. Tatum spinning, driving, layup. Washington drives. Blocked by White. Oh, what a block from Derrick White.
All right, welcome in. First to the floor. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. Ben Vallis here, along with a man who has been preaching at the altar of Sam Hauser. It is, of course, Wayne Spooney. Spooney, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. It's good to talk to you, Ben. I feel like it's been a while. We were just talking before the show that, all three of us have been very busy with life stuff recently, so we have not been on as much as we'd like to be. But we're here. Nice Celtics win. Our very good Boston Celtics we get to talk about. So it's great to be here, brother. I love it.
It's the kind of analysis I'm looking for. The Celtics are very good. That's kind of what I'm limited to. Like you say, what life has been crazy. The ability to produce content as a result has been limited. Might be a shorter pod as a result today, but rather would stick for quality over quantity, I guess. And while we will get to Sam Hauser, speaking of quality, Jaylen Brown against the Indiana Pacers, who I feel like we finally got the Pacers that the rest of the league has been seeing all year. We finally got the crappy version of the Pacers. Thankfully, the non-magnet ball version, although Pascal Siakam was quite good. But Jaylen Brown, 30, 10, and 5, 3 steals, 50% from the floor in 33 minutes. So a nice quality/quantity ratio there, Spoonie. What do you think of Jaylen Brown's performance in this one?
I thought JB was great. I just love the way he's dedicated himself to consistently going to the rim nonstop. They tried to guard him with Jarris Walker, who I think I'm a Jarris Walker guy. And I'm I have 75 guys in the NBA, but I really like Jarris Walker. I think for his size and his dimensions, if you will, Ben. He moves pretty well. He had absolutely nothing for Jaylen Brown. He just can't stay in front of him. That first step is so ridiculous. And he's kind of morphed into the Jimmy Butler. He doesn't need a step. He needs a quarter of a step. And if he gets that, he's rising up through you and getting the foul. He had 5 turnovers, but he was on the ball and a ton on the ball against a set defense, over and over. Because Scal said it right off the top of the broadcast. He's they're switching a ton. We're just going to have to play a lot of isolation. This might be a low assist game for us. And 24, not super crazy, not super low, but Indy had 31 and made a lot fewer shots than we did. So it was just that type of game where you need some of your guys to just take someone one-on-one, create that first advantage, and then get into the washing machine where the ball's zipping around and flying around and nobody can keep track of it. And JB was that guy over and over all night. And going against Siakam, going against Jarris Walker, even Jay Huff to some degree, those guys are big, strong dudes. And it sucks to drive into them a billion times and just get hammered. And he should have way more than 9 free throws. He was getting hacked all game long. So it's just a great, great JB game amongst many, many great JB games this year.
Yeah, it kind of felt like a return to form after that slight dip in energy, the energy shifting in the wrong way after the Clippers game, which makes sense.
Downshifting.
You have this massive peak in the middle of this huge regular season. It kind of makes sense to downshift for a little bit, but very timely. You can't call it a return to form. The man was just named an all-star starter. He's been incredible all season, but it was more back to the standard that we have even more recently come to expect from Jaylen Brown. And you're right, he has this real arsenal of breaking down different individual defensive archetypes, his ability to get his shoulder past Jay Huff if he was unfortunate enough to have to meet Jaylen Brown on the perimeter and just be able to get past him immediately, get to the rim explosively, his ability to get up and over smaller defenders, basically whatever kind of physical dimensional person you are, Jaylen Brown has a recipe to quite literally cook you and score on you. And it was amazing to see him do that at high efficiency. Speaking of high efficiency, unless you've got someone else on Jaylen Brown.
No.
Sam Hauser, 6 of 8 from the floor, 5 of 7 from 3. Good for 71.4%, 17 points, and just, but obviously Jaylen Brown can't do it all. We're looking for these great supplementary pieces. Sam Hauser, notable undrafted player, struggled off the bench in his early years as a Celtic and has sort of gradually climbed the mountain, if you will, to get to this point where he is now. And I kind of feel like finals performance included, Spoonie, like he's kind of playing the best hoop of his life right now. Is that fair to say, or am I going nuts?
Hell yes. This is crazy. Like this, Sam Vecini has said this, and Zach Lowe has said this, and I feel like we have been saying this. None of this shit makes sense. Like Sam Hauser, last 10 games, 13, 4 boards, 1.5 assists, shooting 43.5% from 3 and 82% from 2 in his last 10 games. That's wild. Not only that, and he's on average plus 8.4 in these games, right? So we're battering people when Sam Hauser's on the court in these last 10 games. The way he subtly shifts when Jaylen Brown or Derrick White or Pritchard attacks, and it's like the second the defender, because you've played basketball, like when someone gets beat on your team, even if your coach is like, do not leave your guy, stick to him, you cannot help yourself but just like turn and like start to help. And the second you do that against Sam Hauser, you're dead, because he's like a magician, man. Like, what is it? What's that shitty Adam Sandler movie where the guy's like, I'm very, very sneaky, right? And he just keeps appearing in places. That is Sam Hauser.
I believe that is called Mr. Deeds.
That is Mr. Deeds. Yes, thank you, Mr. Deeds. He's the butler for Mr. Deeds, man. Like, you turn your head for a second, and all of a sudden he's in the corner. He's in the corner. You turn your head, all of a sudden he's above the break, catching the pass, and you're like, oh no, I'm completely dead. Sam Hauser's gonna bury this, and that is not even the best part about the way he's been playing. His defense has been absurd. He guarded Jay Huff for large swaths of this game and did a really damn good job on him. And like, yeah, sometimes it kind of hurts you on the rebounding a little bit. But Jay Huff had 2 points, and Sam Hauser guarded him for like a quarter and a half of basketball, I'm pretty sure. There was times where he's just like in the middle, like low on, we were playing a 2-1-2 or a 2-3 zone at times. Hauser's in one of those low wing spots. Huff's parked right next to him. Hauser's just all over him, stopping him from posting up, boxing him out. He's guarding Siakam in the post and doing a pretty damn good job. He's guarding Jarris Walker. His rotations, off-ball rotations, the way he helps, the way he's in the right position at all times it's batshit insane. Like this, it's crazy, dude. He's gotten so good. Like you can't trade a dude who's playing like this on that contract in the context of the second apron NBA, man. He's just too damn valuable. Like these guys are tough to find.
Well, in the context of Jason Tatum's imminent return as well, we had the most recent Jason Tatum thirst trap, on our feeds only recently. Like his comeback seems to be inevitable at this point, and what a tool in the tool belt for Tatum to have with Sam Hauser out there. This like again dimensionally blessed 6'9" absolute sniper who can crash the boards. 6 boards in this game, 3 assists. Like he's getting this nice little last minute layoff like at the basket to Nimi or the trailing big in transition assist game going as well. So he's got this really fully formed like Sam Hauser 2.0 game going on, where like we celebrated just like the raw 3-and-D nature of his contributions in the finals in 2024, and now he's adding these like nice little, I don't know, seasonings or trimmings around the edges, like a nice little bit of parsley on the salad, whatever it is. It's tasty and delicious. And you saw it in this one. And Jaylen Brown can't do it all. And I guess what you could call a mini slump. It's starting to feel like a mega slump, at least as it pertains to shooting efficiency for Derrick White. To see guys like Sam Hauser step up to this level is, I can't tell you that I expected it because I don't think I did. But it's just another case of people on the Celtics this year, player on the Celtics this year, getting increased opportunities and like absolutely rising to the occasion. And Sam Hauser just seems like he's got no ceiling at this point.
Yeah, dude. Like he had a couple drives because teams just dare him to drive, right? Like if you actually get there to close out against him and he pump fakes you, they basically play him for the relocation dribble. So he can just drive, and he had a couple drives where he's like faking the pass and like going to the finger roll. And I'm like, what is happening? Who is this guy? And like, he's been doing that for 10 games. Like 13 points a game from like his player archetype is pretty crazy. Like he doesn't touch the ball. Data Baller has like the on ball percentage, like Jaylen Brown's is like 27 or 28. Derrick's is like 23 or so. Sam Hauser's is 6.5, right? He never has the ball. He's averaging 13 points a game and basically only touches the ball a couple times a quarter, right? So that is just absurd efficiency. And the fact that teams are daring him to put the ball on the deck and make a play and make a decision, and he just keeps getting better and better and better at that. And that's what we said at the very beginning of this season. Like, there's going to be opportunities for guys like Sam Hauser to spread their wings a little bit, explore the studio space, do some shit. And I think Hauser was like pretty uncomfortable with that to start the season. Like in the previous 31 games, he shot 33% from two. So basically, like 40% of the season, he shot 33% from 2-point range. Heinous. Now he's up to 82% in his last 10. Clearly, we found something with Hauser here with like moving to the starting lineup. He's feeling empowered to put the ball on the floor, make a decision, and take shots. Like take a mid-range jumper, go to the rim. You get stuffed into next Tuesday, we don't care. It's fine. Just let's see what happens. And then when Tatum's back, all this shit's going to fall into place at such an obscene level. Like we might win the title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, love to hear it. Love that take to end that one, Spoonie. Like if there was a great salary correction in the NBA right now, like they just wiped the slate clean of all NBA player salaries and they're like, all right, Sam Hauser, we're correcting your salary to what you truly deserve. Like what tier do you think he's in?
I mean, okay, so Duncan Robinson got he's at like 20 something. I mean, I think I'd rather have Sam Hauser. Like, if I'm trying to win the title, I'd rather have Sam Hauser. Robinson's got like a little bit more to his game offensively, but Hauser's defense is like legitimately good at this point. And Duncan Robinson's, he's a liability on that end. So, I think like if Hauser's on the open market and a couple teams have cap space, there's no doubt in my mind he's getting upper teens, maybe into the 20s. So he's on just a ridiculous deal. He's still like at a really good age. He's, knock on wood, he's had that like back stuff, but he seems to be completely past that. And he's been mostly healthy for his career outside of that. So yeah, man, like I think he's like a 20 million. I know it sounds crazy, but I like in the current market, yeah, it's like a $20 million guy. He can start for you and be a good fifth starter.
Yeah, and naturally anyone who earns what he does, which is like roughly 10 mil per year at the moment, just a measly $10 million US dollars per year, they're naturally going to find themselves in these trade conversations because obviously you need to aggregate salaries to bring back big chunks of salary. And fortunately, we're in this below the second apron world where we can have those conversations. And so I get that he's always going to be involved, but his value is like... this is a crazy bias take, obviously, but I feel like he's like worth at least like a first. You know what I mean? He's not just a throw in. He's like he's got such a valuable skill set. I mean, he can defend. He can kind of put the ball on the floor. Obviously, that is a limited aspect of his game, but we've seen that he can do it. We call him Samelo all the time. Obviously, he's a fucking sniper from three. He can rebound. His game is still evolving, and he's by far like not a net negative on the floor. He's a positive aspect and holds up defensively is what I'm trying to say. So a guy like that just has incredible value to any team, and yet he'll probably, I guess my point is, remain in these conversations just by the way of his salary at the moment.
Yeah, man. I mean, okay, so say somebody comes to the Celtics and they're like, we'll give you, I don't know, like a replacement level, like a 10th, 9th man style wing and the 20th pick in the draft. Would you do that for Sam Hauser?
I don't think so. Just like the timeline of the Jays alone, right? Like the 20th pick on paper isn't going to be like banging 6 threes in game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals, right?
Yeah, dude. No, I think it's a pretty easy decision. Like, not really sure where you'd have to get for me to seriously consider it, but I mean, we're pushing lottery here. Like, if it's like, hey, this is the 10th pick, I think you have to seriously have that conversation. Yeah. But yeah, to your point, like, okay, so you draft a 19-year-old. Well, what the hell does that do for you? Yeah, maybe he's awesome and it's well worth it and it's amazing. But like, so DeAndre Hunter, the Hawks got Karis LeVert, Georges Niang, and 3 second-round picks and 2 future pick swaps. That's probably roughly like a first-round pick in value. I think Hauser on this contract's about as valuable as DeAndre, maybe more valuable than DeAndre.
Yeah.
Probably, he's definitely as a trade asset more valuable, right?
I was going to say I would be disappointed with that return for Sam Hauser.
Yeah.
Massively disappointed. Again, probably a little biased, but that's where he's at. The value is skyrocketing on and off the floor right now. I'd love to see it for Sammy Boy. Anything else on the Hauser front? I know like we should probably explore the depths of the Hauser situation to the best of our abilities, but at the same time, other than like those trimmings around the edges, it is kind of just a return to what we know, that like the man can defend and by gosh, the man can shoot threes.
Yeah, man. And I just want to see him continue trying stuff. And if he fails, he fails. That's fine, man. Like this team is so good. Like, I don't know how. It doesn't make any. Well, I do know how now, but it doesn't really make any sense. But dude, put it on the deck, Joe. Please let him run like 5 pick and rolls one game. Just let him be the ball handler for 5 pick and rolls. See what happens. You know, probably nothing, but let's see it.
I was trying to workshop some concept where like Sam Hauser is the screen setter. You could call it the home screen, but the screening frequency numbers are so low that it's just like, I can't. This is not a thing.
Yeah.
Move on. What else stood out to you in this game, Spoonie? We've got the box score up on the screen here. There's I think a number of different directions to go, but I've kind of been calling the shots so far. What else stood out to you?
Yeah, we got to talk about Kada, dude. 17 and 9, 5 blocks.
Yeah.
And I know Garza had a better plus minus than Kada. That I don't know how that really worked. I thought Kada was incredible. I think Kada probably matched Siakam in minutes a lot of the time, and that probably explains quite a bit of that. I just like, this is the thing that probably makes the least sense of this season. Like, I watched so much Kada like defensive tape over the offseason, and I was just like, man, he just doesn't know what to do. And like, the chance of him figuring that out, like, obviously there's a chance, and he had some possessions that looked great, and there were some times when it's like, oh, maybe he figured it out against worse teams. He's so good defensively now. Like, we parked him in the middle of that zone, and he's just like reading everything. He just stays big, like, at all times. He's just like fanned out, arms up, arms everywhere, legs everywhere, running around like Bambi, but somehow effectively running around like Bambi. Just like making sure he doesn't foul, which was always kind of a problem for him. You know, hitting the glass, boxing out, playing hard as hell. And I just don't understand how he's gone from like last year where it was like, maybe he'll be okay defensively. He should be in the running for the all defense team. Like, you know, maybe second team. Sam Vecini had him as an honorable mention on his all defense team. And I just thought Kada like dominated this game at times. Like, just the way he was keeping like Nembhard and McConnell just kind of in front of him, arms high, making sure that they didn't really force us into true rotation, letting his guard get back to the ball handler. And look, Siakam got him a few times. Siakam got everybody. I just was like absurdly impressed with Kada this game and Kada all season. Like, it's crazy. He's like 26. Like, this doesn't just, you don't just figure it out at 26.
Well, another notch on the Brad Stevens / Boston Celtics player development team belt, where it's like, okay, you guys, you've done it again. Where like, not to discredit like you know, all the work that's gone into Nemi's game, but at least through the NBA lens, it seemed like the trajectory was very much heading towards being out of the league, as opposed to being like one of the more favorable starting centers for the second best team in the Eastern Conference, which is where he's at the moment. What would you say? I guess I need to add to that I kind of hate myself for the thing that I'm most excited about is like how good he'll be when he's coming off the bench behind the big that we trade for at the trade deadline, which is a topic for another podcast. But I can't help but get excited about Nemi through that lens. But like, you got to give him credit. Like, he's been incredible. And we talked about the need for those supplementary not even role players, just like other starters contributing across the scoring column, rebounding, etc., and certainly locking down the paint, which is what Nemi's been incredible at. What do you think, like, of all the aspects of his game from the beginning of this year till now? Because there was a couple of weeks there where it was looking like a little bit dicey for Nemi. What do you think has improved the most if you had to pick one thing?
I think with any guy who's not like a high level starter guy, like you're just gonna go through ebbs and flows. I think maybe he's never played this many minutes before. Like he's already played more minutes this season than I'm pretty sure he has in his entire career combined. And I don't think it's close. So he's gonna go up and down, but I think I just think he maybe lost a little confidence offensively. But you've seen him really get back to doing simple stuff, setting the screen. Like he was getting a little in love with like the floaters and the hook shots. And I think he took a couple against Indy, like literally two. And I do not remember either of them going in, but he was getting a little floater and hook shot happy. And I feel like he's just gone back to like, I set screens and I don't stop setting screens and diving to the rim nonstop. And like that's just going to be really effective when you're as big and as athletic as he is. And like his hands are solid. Like I wouldn't say he's got great hands. Like he's not Rob Williams where he's just like catching everything at absurd angles, but he's got pretty damn good hands. And I think like the whole team was just kind of in a lull. And when you're a guy like Keita and you kind of need other people to set you up, when the team's not playing its best basketball, you're going to look really bad. And then like, I feel like he was not doing a very good job on the defensive glass for a little while there in that short stint where, there's like 4 or 5 games where he didn't look great. And I feel like he's really gotten back to like, find a body, box out, attack the ball. And that's what I feel like he wasn't doing for that little short downswing. He's really gotten back to like go after the ball, attack it. If you can't get to it, just tip it up, tip it. It doesn't matter, right? Like it's going to go somewhere. It will probably get caught by a Celtic.
Yeah, he does a great job of empowering other Celtic players to rebound as well, like you mentioned with boxing out, and obviously that doesn't pop up on the box score anywhere. But if you watch the games, like you can see his contribution rather to the overall rebounding effort, even if he's not grabbing the board itself. This is kind of a nothing answer, but like just his confidence. I know it's kind of like a pretty like
true
textbook cookie cutter answer, but an example of that would be like when he catches the ball at around the free throw line occasionally, which would have previously been a little too far out for him. And you mentioned like some of those slightly deeper floaters and stuff not really being part of his game. Sometimes he'll just put the ball on the floor and just go to the fucking hole and just dunk so aggressively. And that was never really his remit. And now he's just all about that life. And as soon as you can almost see the look in his eyes before he begins the move. And you're like, oh, fuck, I know what's happening here, man. And, he just dominates his defender in those situations. And I just don't feel like he would have ever had the confidence to even think about attempting that in front of Joe Mazzulla, who just like can't wait to bench anyone for even half a mistake. This is just the world that Nemi's living in now, and we're all better for it. I think we'll come back in a second. We'll talk a little bit more about this game, some other individual performances, and some more macro stuff. And there was, if we've got time, a Reddit post about Goga Bitadze potentially being available from the Magic there. But first, a quick word from our friends over at Prize Picks.
The big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. So close the season out right with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Pats, obviously, huge game. Look, you're going to go to Denver. They've got an amazing defense. It's mile high, but screw it. Drake May, more yards. Booty, more yards. And let's splash a little hoops in there too. JB, dominant animal, more points. And, I hate to give props to a Nick, but my fellow Mountaineer, my guy, more on Deuce McBride, points, rebounds, assists, everything. More on Deuce McBride. He has been absolutely balling. Shout out Deuce. Shout out WVU. And hey, new feature alert. Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, now you can have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 off in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
good to be right. It's good to be a Celtics fan as well. And it's good to be a viewer and consumer of all the great content on the CLNS Media Network. So make sure you check out other videos over on their main channel. Back to this game, Spoonie. Just a fun, relaxing, easy stroll out there for Celtics fans. Just kind of back to business as usual as far as dominating these lesser teams. And like we mentioned, finally getting a crack at like the Indiana Pacers and not the Indiana Pacers as it pertains to unlucky Celtics fans. What else, as I end my ramble here, coming back from the break, Spoonie, what else stood out to you in this one?
So the way we played defense has really been indicative of how we've been playing defense throughout the entire Joe Mazzulla era. But this was like raw, uncut Joe Mazzulla defense, right? Rim frequency for Indiana, 2nd percentile. So, like, basically, they did not take any shots at the rim. Mid-range frequency for Indiana, 91st percentile. So, a ton of mid-range jumpers. And non-corner 3 frequency, 93rd percentile. So, we forced them into above-the-break threes and mid-range jumpers. Some of that's short mid-range, which Siakam kind of likes to work in. But that is such an elite defensive profile. And, like, we have the 10th best first shot defense in the NBA. So like our first shot defense is very, very good. It's the defensive rebounding where we get in trouble, although we've been way better at that recently. And just the way we play defense, like the helping, like we just help from the nail or from like the slot or the wing nonstop. Like we basically ignore those guys and we defend 4 with 5 a ton and just like dare you to make the skip pass across the entire defense. And a lot of guys can't do it. Like, yeah, okay, there's going to be some players like Luka or something that might be able to take advantage if we do that. But we're also really smart about who we help against. So it's like, okay, you're skip passing it to Rui Hachimura, and it's like, we're going to get out to him, and then he's going to have to make a play, and we've taken the ball out of Luka Doncic's hands. And when you are doing that against Indiana without Tyrese Halliburton, man, can it look really, really good. It's like, a skip pass to Jay Huff. Like, okay, shoot it, big dog. I'm pretty sure he's shooting, or Jarris Walker, who had a decent game, but it's like, I'm not afraid of Jarris Walker being second on the team in shot attempts, right? Like that is exactly what we want. I'm not sure if he was, but I think he's pretty close to up there. He was second on the team in shot attempts. So like that is scheme defense because like there are lineups with this team that have elite defenders in it, but there's also lineups that have Simons and Garza and Hauser's like the best perimeter defender, or maybe Pritchard is. And those lineups are still doing a good job defensively. It's not an elite defense, but the scheme is elite, which allows us to play a lot of minutes with some of these lesser defenders. And like this was the perfect encapsulation of how we're trying to play defense this season.
Yeah, it's chaotic, but it is very schematic, and I noticed it. We've noticed it all season because it's been like quite in contrast to how we've played defense in the last few years, which is just like keep a guy in front of someone all the time at all costs, and unless it was KP out there, switch everything. It's very chaotic, and it did last night lead to a couple of instances where the Pacers were getting a wide open or openish shot in the corner because if you subtract 1 from 5 enough times, you do eventually get to 0. 0 defenders in front of the person who is, finally after they've broken us down enough times and we've rotated enough times, leads to an open shot. But that's where that scheme comes in, Spoonie, where it's considered in who has the ball once that equation is complete. And it's always usually kicked out of the dominant playmaker or scorer's hands and to someone who is less capable, we'll say. And certainly ended up on the right side of that equation more times than not last night, to the point where like now the Celtics over the past 2 weeks, this is per Cleaning the Glass, have the 3rd best overall defense behind only that of Detroit and Oklahoma City. Pretty damn good. 13th overall on the season per Cleaning the Glass. And like offensively, we've dipped a little bit, but again, like how is this team good? Like I still don't fully understand it. Like I think you probably just given us the best possible explanation as to why the defense works. I was also thinking about it through the lens of everything that's going on with the Warriors, and there's been naturally some talk through the Celtics perspective of, could Al Horford potentially be bought out or traded, or could we somehow reacquire Al Horford? With how exciting this defensive scheme is and how well it's working, and Al Horford's age and how he used to defend, admittedly quite well with Al in the past, would he even survive in this scheme? Could we even integrate Al Horford into this defensive scheme?
I have not watched a ton of the Warriors. I tend to not watch a ton of the West Coast teams, unfortunately, just because I'm old and I go to bed early. We're making it work with Luka Garza, and I contend that I think old Al Horford is still more mobile than Luka Garza. So I think Al would be okay. Obviously, it's not going to be – I don't think it will look great. And I feel like if Al comes back, there's going to be some moments where it's like, the dog, you have to put down, and you're just like, you just can't make that was a little harsh, but you know what I mean?
I know
what
you
mean. It's just kind of sad. It's like Al got beat bad and got dunked on, and this is all like tainting my memories of how elite he was when we had him all those years. But I do think defensively he'd be better than Garza. I don't think offensively he would be better than Garza, though. I'm not real high. Look, I love Al. I once said, even though I'm a 38-year-old man, Al Horford's my favorite player. Right. So I love Al, but I think in the context of the team, not sure this version of Al Horford is a clear upgrade. And look, if he comes over for nothing, sure, whatever. Why not? But if you're actually looking to use some assets, I would rather shoot higher. I want somebody who is a clear upgrade on Garza, at least, and ideally, to your point earlier, someone who can move Nemi to being the best backup center in the league would be completely ideal. And then I truly think if Tatum comes back, this team should be the favorite in the East.
Amazing. And that seems like it's certainly going to happen on that latter point with Jason Tatum coming back, which is incredible. What a luxury to be having this conversation that I don't know if we need Al Horford, maybe Neemias Queta. I know you didn't say this, but Neemias Queta might be the preferable starting big in this current climate, which is insane. We're almost done here. I think there's probably a couple of other things to touch on before we wrap this one up. And like we said, normally we like to do longer shows with multiple segments, but it's been a wild week here off stream for the First of the Floor podcast. But Hugo Gonzalez checks in halfway through the second quarter. Spoonie fights for the loose ball on the offensive rebound, gets it out to Jaylen, automatically spaces out, or immediately, I should say, spaces out to the wing, just straight cash on the three. I just love the hustle. And I've in the little sample size that we've got, in that he's only been a Celtic for 6 months or whatever it is, I've always been a believer in the form of the jump shot. And so to see he's had a couple of threes that he's kind of banged down recently now in very small attempts and sample size, but nothing new here. I just love the way that he plays, and I love the Ugo insertion and the immediate reaction that triggers. The game is changed whenever he enters it, and we're all the better for it. I think we've got to shout out Jordan Walsh as well, who has kind of stabilized a little bit. It was quite a roller coaster there in terms of his production. And, in this game, particularly defensively, I just thought he hounded the shit out of the Pacers and just made life incredibly difficult for them.
Yeah, real quick, Taylor, we're familiar with Moussa Diabate. We know who he is. We're going to do a trade deadline episode, and Moussa will probably come up on that. I'm not sure how much Charlotte would really want to trade him, but we'll talk about him. We just don't really have time today to talk much about trades, unfortunately. Yeah, dude, Walshy, his defense has been insane. I know the offense has definitely cooled off from that stretch of 3 weeks or, month when he was looking really, really confident and looking really, really great. But he's had a couple drives and dishes that I thought looked nice. I think he had one last night that I can't remember who he dumped it off to, but they missed the layup. It might have been Queta, and it's you're Robin Walsh. You have a really nice assist. But his point of attack defense, you can't screen him now. It's crazy. Nembhard was trying to shake him and go through multiple screens, and he's just there still, nonstop the whole time. And then Ugo, he's got a real ceiling. And you're right, the jumper looks great. And if the jumper goes in at any sort of legitimate value, volume, just if he gets no better at anything else, he's going to be a supremely valuable NBA player. And I believe in the jumper, and I believe in that he can do other stuff. There was one drive, it might have been in garbage time. Ugo was just I'm going to the rim, screw it. And he got there. And I would love to see him do a little bit more of that. It's just kind of it feels like there's not enough time to develop both of them. it feels like we inevitably might have to pick one of them, or we could just get Baylor out of the way, who's been okay. Like, I've nothing against how Baylor's been playing. I just think these two guys' upside's higher. But man, I just want to see more of both of them. Like, I really want them both to at least be on an average 15 a game. Minutes, preferably maybe 1 at 20, 1 closer to 15. And if you just wipe the Baylor minutes away, you can easily do that with those guys. So, but yeah, man, they completely changed the game with their effort. And I think like they're both smart decision makers offensively too. They don't try to do too much, and maybe that's kind of a problem. You want them to be trying stuff. But dude, yeah, the Ugo and Walshy, I thought like pretty short-ish runs, but I thought they were both very, very solid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, on the Baylor thing, he's one of the most reliable like part-time employees in any profession. In that, like he's so consistently getting his like 5 to 8 minutes a game or whatever he is, and he's not overly a net negative, but it's not like he's a game changer either. I think as much as I love all players on the Celtics, at least psychologically to me, he's the most expendable player. Mostly for what you've said, like it'll just provide more time and more opportunity for Ugo and Walshy, who just seem like they've got a little bit more longevity in terms of like their ability to contribute to genuine team needs for the Celtics, and they're just fucking fun to watch play. So
they are. We'll
see what happens there. So look, overall, very fun game. I think we probably covered a mid-season game against a very poor Eastern Conference.
The worst team in the offense in the league, at least. Yeah.
I think we've probably taken it as far as we can go, unless you've got anything else on that one, Spoonie.
No, not really. I think we got a back-to-back coming up, so that'll be interesting. I'm keeping my eye on the trade deadline. I'm keeping my eye on the rumors. Probably real quick on Goga Batadze. He does not interest me. I think he's probably an upgrade on Garza. I don't love him. I'm not a huge fan of Goga. I just feel like I would rather aim a little higher than Goga Batadze. And I just think the way you have to play defense, he's so immobile, but he is huge. And he can set some pretty good screens. So, if the price is right, sure, why not? But I would be a little bit disappointed if that's the big man we ended up with.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like it changes our trajectory at all. Like it might be a slight improvement at the second big spot over Luka Garza, but does it get us beyond the conference finals? Does it put us over the Pistons somehow? Does it better utilize Jason Tatum's like big man enhancement skill set? Like probably not. Maybe with the exception of like the possibility of throwing lobs from Tatum to Batadze, but it's not like a massive needle mover. And with just how fun Garza's been at such a low price point, like even lower than Batadze, I believe, in terms of his annual average salary, it just doesn't feel like a worthwhile move. That said, if they exhaust all other options, and this is our only option to even marginally improve productivity at the big man spot off the bench, then like sure, go for it, as long as we're not throwing in more than like a second. I think is probably where I'd leave it. Cool. All right. Speaking of leaving it, like you said, Spoonie, like we'll do the full like trade possibility breakdown pod as we approach the deadline. Any parting thoughts before we wrap this one up?
I don't think so, man. I'm just keeping my eye out for the Jason Tatum return, dude. I feel like end of February we're gonna be really starting to heat up. But for now, man, this team is really fun. The growth of all these guys has been awesome. So looking forward to watching them. Hopefully, maybe we'll probably not get the first seed, but the Knicks have been playing terrible. So it's been really nice to be like, we're better than them again. In our worst season, like where we're going to tank, we're better than the Knicks. It's beautiful.
Those poor Knicks fans. Yeah, you hate to see it. All right. That is going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back early next week, hopefully along with Jake Eisenberg. Wayne Spoonie, love your work, man. Until next time, go Celts.